Well, welcome to Wednesday evening. It's the FishPal Live, and I'm Anne Woodcock. And this week, I am joined, and they're all sitting in this feed behind me. I'm joined by the Stronach Family, James Thompson and Iain Wilson. And before I bring them into the feed, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's been happening this week and also last week. Now, the River Dee, they ended last week with 127 fish, but it should have been more. And there were fish running all week. And Ross McDonald said they remain in good shape. Now, Mark Coburn was on the Dee this afternoon, and this is a bit of footage from the Dee. As you can see, it looks high and dirty. So, but he did say, can you imagine what the fishing's going to be like once the river levels settle down? River Tay, in spite of the unsettled water, which was coloured at times, there were good numbers of fish landed. They finished the week on 216 salmon and 49 sea trout. Now, the River Tweed, they finished on 316 salmon and 74 sea trout for the week, with the best at £25 salmon caught on Virgin Dub. Well, I've got a little bit of a news for you, because we have been given the first viewing of photos of a fish that was caught yesterday in the lower river. As you can see, it's one seriously big fish. This fish is, well, it was weighed and it was also measured, and it was caught by Andy Britton yesterday on a beat below the Coldstream area, and it was caught on a size 12 fly and on 12-pound nylon, and it's currently the largest fish on the fly we know in the UK so far. You may notice on this photo that Andy is wearing 2 pairs of sunglasses. Well, the Gillies glasses fell off his head whilst Andy was playing the fish, and Andy picked them up as they floated past him whilst he was still playing the fish. So anybody out there who doesn't think that men can multitask, we've just proved it for you. The lovely folk from Fishing Mugs, and I've got a little banner with this as well, they have donated £155 to the Captain Tom Foundation. The amount is made up from sales of the NHS Warrior Mug and Ranald's Fly, which was in auction, and you can still buy the NHS Warrior Flag mug. They don't have many left, so do be quick if you want to buy one. Now, Fishing Mugs is a new venture for David and Dave. And they are both keen to contribute towards community and charity causes through product sales. So if you are a keen angler with a cause in mind and a fly, most importantly, they can promote, then do get in touch with the boys, please. So that's the Fishing Mugs. Well, I'm going to have my first guest in the stream. It's James Thompson. I'm just going to take the mic off there. Hello, James. Thank you for joining me this evening.
No problem. Good evening, all.
Now, James, you actually caught your PB sea trout last week on the South Esk. Now, it's been a long wait, hasn't it, for this PB sea trout?
Well, basically, I started off young, and it was actually a river in Inverness in Aberdeenshire. And to be honest with you, it's a bit of a jungle to get to it. And I went down, basically learned my fishing there with my father. And actually, the first fish I took was a personal best sea trout before that, which was 4.5 pound on the fly. But the fly that caught this one on Wednesday, I was with my partner, and it was an old guy that always used to be on the river, and he always used to watch me when I was down, when I was a young lad. And what I'd did learn is I haven't been tying for that long, and to be honest with you, the fly is nothing special, and it would never ever be framed, to be honest with you. It looks a bit like a sleeping bag, if you like. But one thing that I did get off this old guy, and he was a really nice gentleman, but what he did turn around to me to say is, I was that happy to go down with about 24 flies in my box at that time, and I went down and I actually bought about half a dozen new ones, and I went down. There's all this finnick and streets out going about, James. He says, get in there, get in there. He said, come and let me have a look at your fly to see what you're going to put on. So I come out, and I just wanted to show him the new ones, basically, that I bought. And he turned around and he said to me, he says, well, I'll tell you what you can do with these. He said, put them back in the box and take them back to the shop. And he picked up this black and silver. It was basically like a stoat's tail without the yellow tail. And it had been one previously handed down from my grandfather down to my father. And he handed it to me. And I said to him, the guy's name was Willie. And I said, Willie, you can't put that on. I said, there's nothing left of it. It's hanging apart. And he turned around and he says, well, you either take the advice or you leave it, he says, but all them ones that's battered, he says, that's the ones you want to use. And he says, put it in theory, he says, do you think a fish will wait for the fly to doll itself up to come to the river? He says, and if you had one leg, he said, you'd be an easy target for everyone. So basically, most of my flies that I do tie in, I'm not by any means any good at tying, go along that lines. And this fly that caught it, what he did say was, he says, if you lose a fish and you happen to lose a fish on another fly, what this fly consists of is two flies put together. So basically the body is of a willy gun and the top part is of a red Peter Ross with the red tail. And that's what that fly is.
Well, let's show everybody your fish, and also as well is that it's a special fish because obviously the fly is from your it's been handed down to you from your grandfather then.
That's right, yeah.
Oh well, how big is that fish, James?
Well, the fish wasn't weighed, and I was with my friend Cameron Guest, and we reckon it was over 7.5. But we just said 7 to be on the safe side because you got all the guys that will turn around and say, there's no way that fish was that big. But it was definitely over 7 pounds, yeah. And just 5 minutes after, what actually happened was we went down and Cameron's not had a salmon yet. So he went down and we met at the car park just before and he said, are you fishing the fly? I said, yeah, why not? It was like, he said, I'm fishing a spinner. So we went down and he said, you go first into the pool, which is called the Birch Haw. People will know the pool. So I said, oh, you should try the spinner up there. So he was just up from me and I hooked the bank and lost one of these flies at the other side. So I said, Cameron, you go down the beat before me until I set up. Well, he went down and fished it through with the spinner. And then I obviously got set back up and first cast I went in and I got the 7.5 pound. So he was a bit excited. He landed the fish and actually the funny bit was he fell in the water just after that. So he says, oh, I'm going to run and go and get my fly rod. And he just left the bank and it was in another fish. And the fish just took me and ran and ran and ran. My personal best salmon's a 15 pound and I can say that it felt bigger, but I don't know. I never saw it. And it just broke me right off at the loop at the top of the fly line.
Well done, and do keep in touch. And anybody out there that's caught a PB fish or a fish you want to share with us, like James, do get in touch with us and be shared. Okay.
It just shows you how much us can do it.
I think it's brilliant. And you take care, James, and thank you for coming on in Tight Lines.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care of it.
Hi. Well, James was fishing the Montrose and District Angling Club water. They were founded in 1947. And it's the River South Esk, and it's 5 miles from Montrose, and the water is tidal. So they actually say the first stretch of river from the sea, we see a good run of fish every month. So so there you go. So I'm going to bring in the wonderful Stronach family, and they're going to tell me what they've been doing for the last couple of days. Hi team, how you doing?
Hi Anne, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Tell me, what kind of fishing have you been up to?
Well, me, mum and dad have been wild loch fishing, and me and all of us, we have been doing some fishery fishing at Rothiemurchus.
Well, I've got a countryside shot. Is this your wild loch fishing you've been up to?
Yeah, that's me, dad, and Alan Liddell. They're just going down to the first loch, which is actually behind us. That's Loch Scardroy. It's a really nice place, and it's just really, really good to fish.
And I've got a photo from Alan Liddell, because I asked Alan Liddell today if he could send me some more photos of you guys fishing. What's this one, Gordo? You look like you're playing a fish.
That is... That's you playing a fish. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think where that is.
Oh, that's on the rocky bit.
You're catching them many, Gordo.
Yeah, that's at Loch Meag. That was at Loch Meag, and we were just about to finish the day, and Alan said, "Come on, we'll go back down to Loch Meag again." And then the midges were out, and they were really, really bad. And then I was casting away, and I had a bite, and then I didn't get it, and then I got another one, and I managed to get the hook off and released it back again. And then I cast out again, got another one, but it came off. Looked at my fly and realised that the hook had actually came off. So the point of the hook actually came off. So I was fishing with a blunt hook.
Not good. That's not going to help you. And I know both of you, Cheyenne, you and Gordo, where have you been this week, Cheyenne?
We were at Rothiemurchus. We all went as a family. So mum and dad picked me up from Granny's, and it's not Rothiemurchus fishery isn't too far. So we thought instead of going all the way home to Inverness and going to Dunlucky, we just decided we would go to Rothiemurchus, which isn't too far.
Can't see you. Come, move over. Wrong side. Wrong way. You've got to hug your brother, I'm afraid. You've got to hug your brother. Actually, what we'll do is we'll widen this screen. That might be a bit better. So you were playing a fish. Tell us about this one then.
Well, I had just changed the fly to a pink and orange fly. And it was just like, Dad was like, I'm not sure because we were using greens, but try it anyway. And then the first cast, I caught it because we were all like trying to see who was going to be the first to catch, but it turns out I was.
And I gather, Gordo, did you release the fish for Cheyenne?
Well, Shan released it, and I filmed it with the GoPro that we have. Brilliant. So we just blind film it, so we can't see what's filming. And we follow the fish away and just get a photos and a video of it swimming back into its home.
Thank you for that photo as well. And also as well is that I gather social distancing when you've been out. You've been doing well with your social distancing.
Yeah, that was when we had just come in for lunch. So Alan invited John Trodden and Peter Austin from the River Spate Anglers Association, and they're our friends as well. So we invited them along with us, and we were all socially distancing, eating our lunch.
And also as well as talk us through your latest pair of waders. What make are they?
They are Vision waders. I got them out of Graham's, and that photo there was taken because it gives all the washing instructions, and then at the bottom it goes ... or give it to your mom.
Yeah, well, we've actually got that photo, everybody, and I don't know if you can see it. It says right at the bottom ... or give it to your mom. And I just think that's perfect, don't you?
Yeah.
So, and Mum's laughing in the background. Hello, Mum. Hope you're well this evening. Fly tying as well. So you're both back at the bench fly tying then?
Yeah, that was today. Well, Shan's just come back for Granny's, so she asked me, "Can you teach me how to tie a hedgehog?" which is a dry fly that we mostly use all the time. And I said, yeah, why not? And then we were tying it through, and Mum took a photo of us halfway through. So
Brilliant.
It was really, really good.
So where are you off to next week?
Friday, me, Dad, and his friend are away back out to Dunlickety again.
Okay.
And Mum and Shan are going Saturday, I think, to the River Ness to fish. So we're going to be about the place a bit.
Brilliant. And for anybody out there who hasn't taken their family fishing this year, what would you say to them?
No, just go.
Just go. It's a great way to get out of the house, even during this situation that we're in. It's amazing to get outside, and I just love it. Gets you out of the internet, and it's really, really, really fun. So I think everyone should try it.
Brilliant. Well, I'll see you next week, and keep me updated with what you're doing, and hang around, because my next guest is the gentleman who created the Posh Tosh fly. So we're going to get a few tips on that as well. And I've got you some fishing sorted as well. Okay.
If anyone wants to fish the Loch Scardroy or Loch Meag, it's part of the Loch Economy Fishing Club, and they have permits. And if you go to Conton Filling Station, you can get a day permit there for it as well. So
For £10.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And you actually have some good fun up there, don't you?
yeah, and also Rothy Mercus is £14 for 3 hours catch and release, and £10 for 2 hours catch and release.
Well, thank you so much for that. You're just a star. We love you both. So, but you take care, and I'll see you next week, okay?
You too.
Bye.
Bye, Anne.
Bye. I just love that. Oh, that's family fishing. It's so important, everyone. Family fishing is just so important. So, my next guest, I'm just going to do a quick intro, and I do have a wonderful bit of video footage, which I embarrassed him with earlier. So, it's Iain Wilson from Borders Gunroom. He's an angler, he's a fly tyer, he's a writer for Trout and Salmon magazine. He also heads up the fishing department at Borders Gunroom in St Boswells on the River Tweed. He created the Posh Tosh fly, and when I mentioned to one of his friends that he was coming on this evening, the gentleman said he's great company to fish with. He's a wealth of knowledge for visiting anglers to the River Tweed and for rivers further afield. He's always the first on the riverbank when you go fishing with him, and he will not take the best spot to fish in, which is, I thought, was really lovely. He said the spot that he fishes, he will fish harder than anyone else he knows, and he's thorough going through a pool, and he's not slow going through a pool either. He says, and when you get off the river, he will think nothing of tying the fly that's working, and will tie it for everyone in the fishing party. And he's always thinking of working when he's on his wee trips. Now, he did say that he brings everything with him on a fishing trip, including the kitchen sink. And he has everything from fly tying, from fishing equipment, as well as everything you need if you're with him. And he doesn't sleep because he's a human dynamo. So I do think we need to get the Border Osprey, as he's also affectionately known, and the human dynamo. But before I do that, I'm going to show you this, because this made me smile.
Hi, I'm Iain Wilson from the Borders Gunroom in the village of St Boswells, the centre of the universe.
Well, there you go. He lives in the centre of the universe as well. Good evening, Iain.
How you doing, Anne? Good evening, and good evening to everyone else.
Good evening. Now, I also want to know as well is talking of the kitchen sink. I've heard that you shy away from the kettle. So what's your cup of tea skills, mate? What's your tea skills tea making skills like?
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, I do carry, when we go away for a wee trip, we carry, I've got a wee tray with all sorts on it. And we do get the kettle boiled up and do some coffee and tea and stuff. So even get the frying pan out on occasion and get some sausages done as well. So yeah, it's good. That's good. It's all part of the parcel.
Well, actually, we've already got Charlie Jeffries on. And
Yeah.
he's talking about your red jacket. We've
The red
talked about it earlier. And also we've got Philip Hake has come on. Cameron Guest as well. Sorry, Cameron, I didn't actually see that when James was on. So well done as well, because obviously he was there when that sea trout was caught. James's PB, and also as well as James Thompson does say not bad amateur, more like Cameron, and it's really important to get people coming in and who enjoy fishing and you're the better. That's what I say. If you want to come on, just let us know. And we've also got John Taylor on, which you know John Taylor, don't you?
I do indeed. Yeah, no, John Taylor. Right, yeah, he was in the shop a couple of weeks ago. Yep. So
yeah, because you are in the Scottish Borders.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you do have enough of Scottish river fishing, don't you?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. We do. I mean, we usually fish about 5 or 6 different rivers every year, and sometimes try and squeeze in one that we haven't fished. Recently, I just did the Borders, although it is in Scotland only just. I've never fished it before. It's on my doorstep, so it was quite nice to go and have a cast and see what it's about. Lost a couple of sea trout. I went with Tom Carter, who you'll know, obviously, and he got a lovely fish, about 10 or 12 pounds. So yeah, it was good, really good trip.
And they have a good run of fishing, don't they?
They have. They've done quite well, the Borders. The problem they've had is just the river level just settled down and had another spell of rain, and it's way back up again. I mean, the last time I looked, it was sitting at 5 feet, but I see it's had a little lift today again, up to about 1'6", 1'8", I think it was. So, yeah.
And when you're fishing, it's all right. This is actually okay.
What's that? Sorry.
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you just about, no problem now.
Okay. But you love spring fishing, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Not the colder the better, but I like a bit of a challenge, and what you're going to catch is pristine. The best fish you can catch is springers. It's, they're just built different. They're just awesome fish. They really are. They really are.
And one of your popular.
The D, yeah, I do the D quite a bit. We go to Inverness. Normally we're there just the beginning of February and go back in March. So that was a March trip. We get the fish out of Pantoch, which is down in Tilquilly, the very top of Tilquilly. So yeah, it was a lovely, good day. I had a couple of fish that day actually. Quite a nice day.
Were you fishing with Ali?
Yeah, Ali Hutchins was there that day. That's I was going to say he took the photograph, but he didn't. It was actually Carol Revel that took the photograph. Ali was away trying to catch his own fish.
And also as well is that this is obviously everybody. Red jacket warning. We'd like to announce the red jacket warning.
Yeah, I was going to actually put it on, funnily enough, just for a laugh, but I thought I'd better not. But anyway.
And not only, you like fishing the D, because I see a lot of photos of you on the D, also the Tweed, but also as well as that you've been in Delmonic as well on the 10.
Yeah, that's the D again. That's at that's at Burkwood, Inverness. But yeah, that was the same day actually as the one. Ali came up and netted it actually, so he was there when the photograph was taken. So that's why I take someone fishing with me, so someone has to hold the camera, and now I'm holding the fish. So.
Be aware, everybody, we're now having a jacket change.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Dalmarnock. That was a fish about 18, 19 pounds out the top of Dalmarnock Bank. And that was in May. That was a number of years ago. That was before the red jacket. So yeah.
because everywhere you go, you fish the fly, don't you?
Fish what, sorry?
Fish the fly.
Yeah, pretty much. I try to as much as I can, but I'll fish with the conditions. It's we all like fishing the fly. We also all like to catch fish, and sometimes you've just got to fish to the river conditions that are put to you. Like today on the Tweed, it's we've had some thunderstorms in the catchment, and the Tweed was like tea with milk in it. So it was a spinning day. It's as simple as that. And, I'm not a purist by any means, but I think you have to fish to the conditions sometimes, and that's how it is.
It's interesting. Fish Tweed, we some from the previous,
Right.
and it didn't, and the Tweed was running relatively clear, whereas the main tree was just really dark. And normally you see it coming in devious than the main. So people comment how interesting that was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of the colours today came down the leader and down the Gala water. A part of the A68 was closed by a landslide this morning, so I think there's been a lot of rain up in the sort of Stow up towards Edinburgh direction, which has come down the Gala water, when that's where most of the colours come from. So.
Yeah, and the connection is not very good this evening either. You are based in the Scottish Borders, so I am thinking really quite slowly and not moving my head, if you notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Which you must find quite hard to do, Anne.
I do.
yeah, absolutely.
Talk us through 16th of July, and that's summer fish. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I went down. This is in 2014, 16th of July. I was trying a new line out on a single-handed rod, and I had my friend Brian Douglas, who's now the gillie at Upper Dryborough. He was at that time he was just starting to get. He'd always been salmon fishing with spinners and whatnot. We were trying to get him into fly fishing. And he was trying a new 12-foot rod. I was trying this new line on this 10.5-foot rod, and I proceeded to hook that fish, which is turned out to be 44 inches long, which is 32 pounds. And it led us a merry old dance. We played it for 26 minutes, and we ended up about half a mile downstream into the Duke of Sutherland's water, which was I had to do a bit of explaining the following day. Because people were asking where the photograph was taken. Of course, I had to say where it was, and they said, "What were you doing there? You should have been half a mile upstream," So, but yeah, it was a very good experience, and we were damn lucky to get it.
What length of rod?
10.5 foot, single-handed rod, 11-pound nylon with a dropper on it. Everything about that situation shouldn't have happened. The fish should have snapped the line and swam off, but it was just for the fishing gods were kind to me that day, and we managed to get it. So
I'm just conscious. I know Julie Jeffries has made a comment, and I'm now sitting further away with the hope that my sound improves.
Right, okay.
Has that improved?
I can hear you fine, Anne. Yeah, coming through loud and clear.
Julie Jeffries.
Oh well, it's getting to an age where the hearing starts to play up. You see.
You're an avid fly tyler.
Yes.
A creator of flies as well. Mr. Posh Tosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How do you create a fly like this?
It's like, well, I was very fortunate that when I started tying flies, which at the time I've probably been tying now maybe 12 years, maybe 15 years, maybe. And it was a period where a lot of new materials were coming on board. And I caught a number of fish way back in time on a standard black and yellow, and we had lovely Arctic flops coming into the shop. It was fluorescent yellow, black. The UTC Mirage tinsel had just come on the scene, which is a lovely material for reflecting light, the colour back at you, sort of thing, and it seems to reflect whatever colours round about it back out. So we started using a lot of that material, and that's how it just came about. And again, I was getting access to some dyed jungle cock as well with various colours. So I find that fly, caught a number of fish in it, caught quite a lot of fish on it, both in spring, a lot in the springtime, and even caught fish right through into autumn. And we did an article for the Trout Salmon on that fly, how we started with it and how it developed over a period. The first time I used, not the posh tosh, but the black and yellow with a gold body was in 1989. And way back then, we started tweaking it with different materials, and then it just progressed to that. And in that article, I sold over £7,000 worth of that fly. I sent them all over the world to Russia, Iceland, Norway, and still yet get people still phone me up yet who have placed an order from that article that still annually get their sort of regular supply of them. So yeah, it's been a very popular fly.
Well, everybody has posh in their bag now, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Even his Royal Highness.
Yeah, he did. I was up on the Thurso when I first went up about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was lucky to bump into Eddie McCarthy. And Eddie had said, man with the posh tosh, even Prince Charles has it in his fly box. So he fishes with him on the private beat. So it was quite nice to know that he's got some tucked away in there as well. So yeah, it was good.
He's got stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I'm doing, everybody, is I'm going to mute my mic every time Iain speaks to hopefully maybe trying to mute a bit of this. So I apologise. And I apologise for the increase again. You've also done some variations on the posh tosh, and we've got the posh banana.
Posh banana, yeah. I was fishing a lot of in the spring. We would get quite a lot of water in the Tweed, which was quite murky, and I wanted a fly that was quite hot yellow, and of course, which is like a banana fly. So I just put some orange into it and christened it the posh banana. As such, so that's quite an unusual. It's got 2 cone heads on it, but it was just solely to get the weight, the hot orange cone head, and before they put the hackle on and the wing over the top of it. So yeah.
So how's that going to fish when you cast it?
When you cast it, it's okay. When you see the fly when they're wet. Sorry, we see it when it's dry. It looks a very bulky kind of fly, but when it gets wet, it goes very thin and therefore becomes more aerodynamic when you cast it. The weight at the front counterbalances the hook at the back as well, so it does fish quite level in the water. Looks quite nice.
And what's that?
Wasn't that what? Sorry.
The body. What have you got in that body?
It's the bodies are it's a very fluorescent yellow dubbing with a red wire rib over the top, orange fluorofiber tag in the back.
And also as well is that you've got the Tulip Shrimp, and you've done well on the Thurso with the Tulip Shrimp, haven't you?
I have indeed, yeah. That's where it was first started. I used it there last year. It didn't have a name when I first went. I went up there and I thought it suits really peaty water. So we were there in the 3rd week of April, and I gave it a swim and caught a lovely fish. There you go. And it's funny, the chap, the gilly was fairly new to the river, and he said, "What's this chat about this red jacket carry on?" I says, "Oh, it's a fish attracting jacket," which is it's kind of a current joke at the time. Yeah, attracts fish. Yeah. 10 casts later, he was putting the net under that fish, so we all had a bit of a laugh about it, you know. So, but that's where the Tulip Shrimp. That's the pool's called the Tulip pool, and that's where the fly was christened as such. So yeah, good. You've still muted, Anne. Yeah, told you should have paid more than that 50 quid. Anyway, there you go.
Okay, everybody, I've been on a course. I still need to go back. But we were also talking about the raster as well, which is one that's currently in design, isn't it?
It's been on. I've used it a lot, and it's been on the go for quite a while. It was originally designed as a back end fly. I was wanting a fly with a bit more green in it because everything else was black, red, and yellow, and I thought the incorporation of the green would just make it stand out a little bit. it's actually gone the other way. It becomes a very popular spring fly. We've got quite a few customers buying up for fishing down at South Wark and in the lower river, and do very well in the springtime because we have it up to 2 inch. It's on a 2 inch copper tube as well, which in big flows, that's what you need down there, you know.
That's a nice looking.
It catches a few fish. It catches more anglers as well, which is pretty good if you're selling them, you know.
Well, I've got a bit of fish that we took in the shop the other week.
Right.
And I'm just going to show this to everybody because it gives people a little bit of a flavour of the fly tying area. It's like a rabbit warren. Borders Gunroom is a rabbit warren. You don't realise how big it is. It's massive. So I'm going to show this because I love this. So let's add this to the stream and we'll just play.
So here we are at my desk in the fishing department. And next to my desk is a range of rods, quite a lot of rods, which sometimes I feel like just grabbing one and going for a cast. But unfortunately, we do have to earn a living sometimes. So, and anyone who knows me will know that I do fish a lot. So I do have to spend a bit of time at work. The range of rods we carry Sage, Hardies, Greys. We also do some Vision rods as well. One of the rods that's been very popular for us this year has been the Greys GR60, both in the single hander and in the double hander, especially the switch rods have been a big increase in the sale of switch rods. The GR60 comes as a 11-foot 1 inch, and there's a 6.7, 7.8 and an 8.9. The 7.8s have been very popular, and we've matched that up generally with a Regal Scandi short Versatip. We sold a lot of these kits, and they're just a sweet rod to use. And with that line, the presentation is fantastic.
Let's remove that. Now, the thing is, Iain, is that listening to you there, you are so knowledgeable and helpful because people have been coming into this feed saying how helpful you are when you shop. And I know that with lockdown, a lot of people were buying rods. What kind of rods have people been buying from Borders Gunroom?
It's quite interesting that we've had a big increase in and a lot of people coming back to fishing. I think through lockdown, we one of the few things we were allowed to do. So we sold obviously quite a few trout rods, single-handed rods. As a lot of the fisheries were just starting to open up. The river was opened up, although they were restricted with our postcode and the 5 mile exclusion. You know, the 5 mile limit to what we could do. But it was quite interesting that we started selling a lot of fishing kits, starter kits. Families would come in, or certainly the dad would come in, leave the kids and the wife outside and come in. This is for the family. We're going fishing. We want to go and get back into it again. I did it when I was a small boy, or maybe as he was a young man and then got married and had kids and he's kind of left it. But a lot of people coming back to it. I can remember when you were in the shop, you said there was over 200,000 rod licenses issued by the Environment Agency, which is very interesting because I mean I'd like to think in Scotland we've had a huge increase in the amount of people going back to the sport. So yeah, we've done quite well with the rod sales this year.
Well, and I agree with that because I've been reading the feedback on services, and I've seen that feedback from people saying it's nice to be able to have affordable fishing and good gillies as well to help people. That's so important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A gilly can make a beat. You know, it's even if you turn up at a beat and it's the gilly knows it's not going to be great. You know, the river may be very low or it's a bit high and coloured, and a good gilly will just say, look, let's give it a go. Let's see what we can do. We'll fish the best bits. And which is great because you encourage people. It's just rather than just turn around and say it's a waste of time, you'll go back in your car and go home. You know, it makes a big difference when a gilly's very keen to get you on the river and see what you can do. You know, and sometimes you catch fish. You know, it's
precisely. But you also learn as well, and you also get that I'm going to come back here because I've had such a good time as well.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's I speak to a lot of customers who come in the shop, and they say the same. You know, it's thanks. So, sometimes they ask you where to go and you send them and they come back and say, "We really appreciate that. The gilly was fantastic. I've booked in for next year, or I've booked in next week, and it's been great. It's good when you get feedback from that. It's nice to see that things work.
And in the shop as well is that I know you've got the starter kits. You've also got such a wide range of rods, haven't you? And you've got some rods at the moment. Is the Hardy rods that you've got reduced?
Yeah, we've reduced them by 20%. The Hardy Zephyrus. We're just making way. We believe there's another rod coming out from Hardy, so we've just reduced them in price. We're doing not a special offer, but the ones we've had on display, we're just reducing just to make way for the new model. I haven't been told what it's called yet, but it's coming. So we'll see what happens.
So I've just had a fly go past.
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing as well with that rod, what would you say about the rod to somebody who's thinking of buying a Hardy Zephyrus rod?
Hardy Zephyrus is top of the range. The HBX is right at the top there. It's quite expensive. It's over the £1,000 mark. The HBX comes in just under £1,000, and the double-handed rods you're down to about £600 with the single-handed rods. Very fast action. It's one of the best rods on the market. But like I said, this will be about second or third year. So with the rod manufacturing, it is there are always new materials coming to the fore, and you see changes right through. All the brands are all tweaking them in different ways and things. So, but there's very good rods. The Zephyrus has done very well with them in the last 2 years.
And not only with the rods and the reels, but you've got everything. You've got fly tying. You've got a fantastic range of lines. I was really impressed with your lines. And it's not just salmon, it's trout, because you have your colleagues, and including yourself, you all fish for trout, don't you?
We do, yeah, we do. We've been very fortunate with, and also the customers that come in. We have such a range of customers. We have people who represent Scotland at that level, and we also have people who are just beginning. So you have to carry a range of products which people can afford. And in all fairness, as much as people say you can't buy a bad rod nowadays, in all fairness, fly lines are pretty much the same now. The advances in technology with line memory and that kind of thing. The lines last a lot longer. The good old days where you had a line for 2 years and had to bin it because it was cracked and perished, and line memory was terrible on it. Nowadays, they're so supple that they last. I mean, God, I can't think the last time I bought a trout line. I'm still using the same one that I bought. That 2014 was when I was given that line to try when I caught that big salmon. And here we are. 7 years later, I'm still using it. So me being a skinflint, I don't know, but they still make the lines, so it's still out there. But it is very important to carry such a range and also different brands. A lot of people have a specific brand they stick with, and you find that right through their career. They generally stick with the same thing. It works for them, so why change it?
And well, is that you have moving further away. I am on a stool, so if I fall off, everybody free laugh.
Yeah.
But with fly lines, if you haven't got it matched to your rod, it's not going to work. And so many people say, I don't like this rod, but get the line matched.
Absolutely. It's so important. From being underlined to being overlined can be a danger. There's a chance of you breaking the rod. Not initially on a nice calm day, but the day when you're fishing with a big fly and a strong wind, that's the day you're going to break the rod. You're just working it too hard. And also, if it's underlined, you're working the rod hard to try and get it to go. But when you find one that's as sweet as a nut, it just makes the whole thing enjoyable to use. It's effort. I was going to say it's effortless, but it's near as damn it. When it all works together, it becomes an enjoyable day. And then maybe when you start catching fish, if you cover the water consistently well, you're going to catch fish. It's as simple as that.
Well, Malcolm Anderson said that you cover the water effectively, but you're fast with it as well. How do you cover water that's different, that somebody who might be new to the sport or somebody who hasn't done the volume of fishing on Scottish rivers that you have? Well, how would you approach a piece of water?
Right. So we say we turn up at the pool and it's low and relatively clear. I usually fish it fairly quickly. I'll think to myself, right, I want to be on a floating line and maybe an intermediate tip, small fly. But I'm also thinking that fish can see that fly a long way off, and rather than dither down the pool, if you're taking big strides between the casts, the fish is picking up the fly, and within let's say 6 or 7 casts, you're actually onto the fish. And I think you can actually bore them. They see the fly that often going past that they just think, no, I'm bored with that, I'm sick and tired of looking at it. So I sometimes get through a pool fairly quickly, and also if you know a beat quite well, you'll know that bit of the pool's really good in that height of water, and then the next one's quite good down there, and you go and fish all the best bits, and then come back and maybe try something different if you haven't had anything. Maybe try a smaller fly or a heavier fly on a sinking tip, and then just see what happens with that. If it's a fairly big river, again, you're fishing slacker water. It can be more coloured, and therefore you take your time. The fish won't see the fly as easy, and therefore small strides just cover the water a little bit more. So you may as well fish the more productive piece of water effectively than bash through it and think you're going somewhere better. That's how I do it. So.
Would you choose say you've got to target sea trout or you've got to target salmon? I fished Middle Pavilion last month, and I looked at the water and asked the wonderful Stephen, and I thought, right, I'm putting sea trout on here. Let's go for a sea trout. I knew there was sea trout around. Would you change tactics like that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes say you're there for a week. Argument, say you've taken 2 or 3 days fishing, and you're able to fish the water. But say early in the morning. So in the morning, I'll probably target salmon. And if it's a bright day, like it's been today here in the Scottish Border, blue sky, sunshine, I might go back in the evening and target the sea trout. Leave the pools alone. Don't, just fish within the conditions. Like I said, it's nice to be out. I was up in the Thurso a couple of weeks ago, and I came home and my wife said, "How was it?" And I said, "The weather was great. It wasn't fishing weather. It was holidaying weather. But when it was dull and a wee bit windy, it was fishing weather. So we went and caught fish. Went fishing anyway, and we did catch a few fish. But it can be good. You just got to, especially in summer, you're fishing up to 18 hours a day. Sometimes you want to go all day, and you've just got to how can I say, just concentrate on each end of the day, and if anything, catch up a bit of sleep in the afternoon or whatever, and maybe go and do something else. But that's how I would do it. I do like doing a bit of sea trout fishing as well. So on the Tweed, we don't have the great success rate right into dark, whereas they do on the likes of the Spey, the Tay, and the Dee, where they're fishing into the dark. So we usually go back just about the last hour and a half before it gets dark, and then we stop.
Yeah, because you don't go.
What's that, sorry?
You don't get. You're making me do.
Sorry.
You don't go to sleep.
Yeah, when we're away on holiday, we're fishing to maybe midnight, and then maybe even into 1 o'clock in the morning. They're up again at 6. So yeah, but the afternoon you can get a wee bit catch up as well. So yeah, you burn yourself out. You've got to watch, because if it's ideal conditions, you just want to fish all the time, and you've got to be careful. I'm getting to an age where I have to kind of watch what I'm doing.
Well, Coburn, it was like daylight at 12 o'clock at night. It was like, oh, what time is it? And it's just like full on, isn't it? Because you're there at such a distance.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, when you're up in some of the rivers up north, that's when you really would start for sea trout in the dark, So you've got to, like I say, you've just got to manage what you do and when you do it, and if the conditions are right, well, all the better,
Have a plan. That's what it is. Have a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been at the Borders Gunrooms. Oh, it's quiet, for 20 years. What changes have you seen over the last 20 years?
What have I seen? For us, I've noticed the not a downfall in customers, but people changing their purchasing and buying habits, more and more going online. The younger generation do more things online. They order online. they get the information online, they watch the videos how to use the product online. Whereas the older generation, would I say sort of 50s and 60s, we're old-fashioned. We like to go and handle things. You know, we go into the shop and look and touch and feel and want a bit of information face to face with a not a shopkeeper, but an employee or someone who knows what they're talking about. You know, and I've noticed that more and more people are online. More so when we went into this COVID situation, a lot more people are using online purchasing than they've ever done before. They were always wary of it, and now they've got over that and are starting. They are starting to do more online.
Borders Gunroom, more open for consumption.
We certainly are. We open 8:30 to 5:30 Monday to Friday, and on Saturday from 8:30 to 5. And as I said, we're always open. It's we even through lockdown we were still doing a lot online and through eBay. We're having issues now. It's quite funny. We're having issues now with suppliers running out of stock. That's how popular the fishing's been this year. One or two of the products we can't get. You know, we're struggling a little bit, but I think everyone's in the same boat, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and that's positive.
Yes, it has to be. It has to be. You know.
And the thing is, when people are going out fishing, it's important they have a great experience so they come back next year.
Absolutely, and it's quite interesting. I've seen in the last month, I've seen new faces come to the Tweed, which I've never seen before. You know, and a few again had maybe fished, you know, when they were 20 years ago, and now come back to the Tweed. So I see a little change coming, and we're catching fish this year. There's a lot more fish about, and there's lots of theories to how that is. But I see a big increase in the amount of fishing that's taking place. So it's good to see, really good to see.
And that's all over Scotland.
It pretty much is, yeah. I mean, it's even the Lochie. I was speaking to, Steve Wellard and
Jenny.
Jenny, yeah. They were in the shop on Monday, and they were saying the Lochie's starting to get a few fish back, which is good to see. It's a river that's really nice to fish, and it's had a bit of a hard time, but everywhere's had a good go. And as I said, it's people are upbeat about it all. It's good to we're getting a bit excited about it all. Might even have a back end run this year. Quite a lot of theories to whether we'll get that. So fingers crossed. So yeah.
Well, Iain Wilson, thank you for coming on. And I apologise for this sound, everybody. I do actually have a little laptop now, and I think next week we might try on the laptop. Yes, I sound very distorted. I know, Melvin. So I am now going, and I'm hoping the sound will be better once it's all recorded and we put it on. So, but huge thanks, Iain. We have some video from Borders Gunroom, because I did interview you there as well. So we've got some more video from Borders Gunroom to come, and it's now gone clear again. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
But you know something? Melvin's just left. It's gone quiet. Oh, John, thank you so much for your lovely comments. He's put up with the sound, but we do have some video footage of Borders Gunroom, so I'm going to be posting that over on the next couple of days. And you very kindly produced a salmon for spring, for summer, and for autumn videos for me on the best flies to use. So huge thank you for that, Iain, and that will be coming out to everybody as well. So you'll be able to, you know, if you're fishing the Tweed, we've asked you to give us some top tips as well. So thank you so much. And I would also like to thank the Stronach family, who are family fishing, which is brilliant. And thank you, Tracy Stronach. That's Mum. We love you, Mum. And also thank you to James as well. And also his friend, James Thompson, and his friend Cameron Guest, who I think Cameron was the one that fell in, poor thing. So I hope he's weighed as a no try. And but next week, I'm back next week, and I've now got guests booked until the end of September. So look forward to seeing you all. And huge thank you, Iain. And I'll meet up with you again, and we'll get some more video footage off you.
Yeah.
Take care.